Murray.
Are you ready? Because this is the big one.
You turn the TV on before you get a picture, you'd hear this guy go, "It's incredible!"
The tension is rising.
And for that moment, you're hooked.
And it's go! Hackett as the race leader. He's out of the race. Oh, bang! Off goes Mika Hackett.
I've told him many times, just to shut up. He could be winning the race, then all of a sudden, wait, they've only got one lap to go. Oh, nothing can stop him now, and then the wheel falls off.
So you can stick that in your exhaust pipe. Maybe Coulthard into the wall, they'll stop the race. They'll have to red flag. This is terrible. It's Schumacher.
He's probably more known than some of our racing drivers.
He's an enthusiast. He's still a little boy at heart.
You think he used to drive tanks?
Yes, that's true, but what a battle we're looking at now.
I struggle to keep up with him. Away from the racetrack, he's flat out.
I think a healthy body helps to keep a healthy mind, but you can still have a healthy body and a dirty mind.
Murray is loved and enjoyed by everybody.
Oh, we miss you.
It's just sensational.
I shall miss him, that's for sure.
I think he's irreplaceable.
We'll miss you, Murray.
We'll miss you, Murray.
Unless I'm very much mistaken. Yes, I am very much mistaken.
Thanks a lot, Murray.
March 2001, the beginning of the end for the voice of motorsport. After more than 50 years behind the mic, Murray Walker is packing up and preparing for his final season as ITV's Formula One commentator. First stop, the long-haul trip to Melbourne, Australia. He's 77 years old, but the boyish enthusiasm is burning as brightly as ever.
I really am fired up. I'm about to get in the aeroplane and go to Melbourne, to a country I love and to a place that I love, and work with people that I have a great deal of admiration and respect for, doing the thing that I adore doing.
I've said for years, when are we going to wake up in the morning like another retired couple and say, what shall we do today, dear? Fat chance. That'll never happen with him.
This flight that we're about to do is actually a pretty onerous one. 24 hours in an aeroplane is a long, long time. And you've got a 10-hour time adjustment when you get to the other end. Hello. And you do feel flaked out, or at least I do. But the benefit that you get is worth any penalty that you have to pay. And by the time I get to Australia, I'll be hitting the ground running. These for me. Thank you very much.
Murray's commentary is heard throughout the world, including here in Australia. As ever, there's a warm welcome on his arrival at Melbourne.
You can't get more special than this. Thanks, guys. Thanks very much. The local scenery is extremely good, I must say. Yes, I'm very flattered that they've all got up this early in the morning to greet me, because it's only 7:15 now. What time did you get up?
5:15.
5:15. There we are, you see. That's pulling power for you. Oh, God, I'm going to miss it enormously, because this has been my life. Age withers, and it's going to wither me. I want to stop while I'm still ahead with the viewers and not hang on a bit until I'm past it.
If it's his wish to retire on a high, then I think everybody in the world will wish him all the best, and good luck to him. Fantastic.
Bright and early next morning, it's straight down to work. There's a busy schedule for this first Grand Prix of the season. As well as 2 live shows over the race weekend, there's another special programme to put together.
We're just about to shoot the opening link for the preview show.
Once again, new drivers, new cars. Welcome to a special preview of the 2001 season here on ITV. Sadly for me, it's my last behind the microphone. But there's plenty to look forward to as we gear up for the start of another exciting season.
Let's take a quick break.
Basically, I gave him a guide script this morning, and then he puts his own words in it.
It looks like a repeat battle for the driver's title between Michael Schumacher and Mika Häkkinen, with a challenge from David Coulthard.
OK, happy. Thanks, Murray.
Job done. It's countdown to the curtain raiser. The 2001 Formula One season is about to get underway.
G'day! G'day!
It's time for the main players to make an entrance. Expectations run high.
Australia is absolutely potty about Formula One. It's the most enthusiastic country for Grand Prix racing that I have ever been to. And I don't want this to sound big-headed, but it's my voice that they learn about it from. And so they seem to regard it as being quite a thing when I go to Australia. And yes, I do get a lot of red carpet treatment, and it's very nice too.
In Australia here, I mean, everybody loves Murray Walker. No, it's going to be a bloody shame when that Murray Walker guy goes. You know, everybody's enthusiastic about him because it's infectious.
When I'm at the Grand Prix, I spend the whole day talking to anybody who will talk to me.
Yes. And you can't get rid of him. He's always there.
And that's Murray. He's looking for a different, deeper angle all the time.
How much of you is your mother and how much of you is your father? When you're talking to them, some little nugget will come out of the conversation, which you subconsciously stuff away up here.
He lives, breathes, eats and sleeps the sport.
To have him say things about me while I've been in Formula One, it's been amazing and some very positive.
They'll all be after him.
I remember very clearly when I came from Ireland as a would-be hopeful racing driver, and he knew every single thing about my detail, even in a minor race in Thruxton on an Easter Monday, freezing to death cold.
And I get very passionate about it because it means a heck of a lot to me, and I want my sport to mean a heck of a lot to the people who are watching it.
Life on the road is a heady mixture of work, rest and play. Tonight in Melbourne, it's the Grand Prix Ball. A glittering night out with the stars, and Murray is guest of honour.
Same man, different clothes.
His voice, his name and his face have been associated with Formula One motor racing for decades, and Prince Michael would wish Murray Walker to come forward. We all salute Murray Walker.
Thank you, sir, very much indeed.
Murray's presented with a special award. It'll be the first of many over the coming months.
It's my 17th consecutive year coming to Australia for the Grand Prix.
It is the nicest thing I've ever received in my life. And I feel I'm an Australian Grand Prix winner myself now. And it's mine.
Albert Park, Melbourne is a magnificent sight on the first race day of the year. We are counting down to the start of F1 2001.
As the countdown continues, Murray Walker's in big demand from all quarters.
Simon to Murray. Hi Murray, it's Dave here. Can you hear me?
Murray, can you hear me?
All week in Melbourne, they'll be making a real fuss of Murray Walker as he starts his last commentary here. Murray's going to pop in and join us along with his old mucker, Sir Stirling Moss.
What about a big Aussie send-off for Murray Walker? For so long, the voice of Formula One.
Thank you very much, Murray. Thank you, Murray.
Hi, fine, thanks. One of my problems here is to get the work done. I mean, I'm very conscious of the fact that I'm here to call the Australian Grand Prix to millions of people all over the world. And I've hardly been able to do any of my drafting around, talking to drivers and mechanics and engineers and all the rest of it, because I've been doing so many other things.
Murray?
Always a problem. I've got an hour and 10 minutes before I need to be up on the commentary box. Benetton have kindly invited me to have lunch with them in the paddock, and then I'll be up in the commentary box winding myself up.
And it's go in Australia. Schumacher leads. Brilliant start. Hacking it up into second position. And Ralf Schumacher is up alongside Frentzen, who takes third position. Down into fourth place, and he's going for it.
Yes, and they're going to touch there, guaranteed.
Off goes Frentzen, and out goes Hagginen.
Look, Coulthard taking second place from Barrichello then, a sweet move.
Terrific! Michael Schumacher leading, but now the Damon Coulthard's got ahead, and he closed on the German.
Yeah, but I think Schumacher's just pacing himself, Murray. I think he's got the speed necessary and he's just judging that lap time.
And Michael Schumacher gives it the welly out of the last corner and wins the Australian Grand Prix to the delight of the Ferrari mechanics who provided him with a wonderful motor car. Now we go on to another 16 races. The next one is at Brazil, Sao Paulo, Brazil, in 2 weeks' time.
I'm going to Malaysia first, Murray.
Yeah, so am I. I'm sorry. I know exactly how I did that, but thanks for reminding me. Kuala Lumpur, here I come.
Back home in the New Forest, it's time to catch up on the fitness regime. Murray visits his health club twice a week, when possible.
Well, I'm not home all that much during the season, but I've got a bit of a fetish about keeping fit. As the older you get, I think the more you need to keep fit, and this is where I come to do it. We all lead a strenuous life in Formula One. When you're marching about the pit lane all the time, going over to the commentary box, climbing up and down stairs, and I'm not a young man. I'm working with a lot of young people, and there's also a pride thing, I think. I want to be able to keep up with them. And actually, I quite enjoy it.
Sometimes I have to leave him to finish walking around the racetrack. I mean, he's a strong man. He's got a good constitution.
And he's as fit as hell.
I do this for an hour and 10 minutes, and then I go in the pool for 10 minutes.
He's in great shape, and I tell you, to have 2 new hips, I mean, knowing him for close to 30 years almost now, and to see him walk properly for the last couple of years is just marvellous. The only thing is, he's grown half an inch taller than me now.
Always, when I've finished, I think, thank heavens I did it, because I do feel a lot better. I mean, my dad died when he was 66 because he smoked too much, and he got a chest problem, and he had a heart attack and died. And I don't want that to happen to me. We're all mortal, and I'm going sometime, but I'd like to keep it as far away as I can. My mother died last year at the age of 101, and just a few weeks before she died, I went in to see her, and I walked in the room and she said, "Hello, dear," and I said, "Hello, Mother." She said, "It's time you got your hair cut." And I said, I've hardly got any left, Mother." And she said, "Never mind, what you've got left is too long, get it cut." So I went and got it cut. The older you get, the harder it gets.
Back to the championship, it's round 3, the Brazilian Grand Prix. Murray's decided to sit this one out.
Look at that! Unbelievable!
Little does he know, he's about to miss one of the most eventful races of the season.
It's the Brazilian Grand Prix live from Sao Paulo, only on ITV. Murray Walker isn't with us. This is the first of 5 races that Murray is missing in his farewell season.
Great start by Schumacher, Hagginen stalled! Everyone goes around the back of him!
Amazing, nobody hit him.
Look at Juan Montoya, he's looking very racy indeed. Already trying to charge down the inside of Michael Schumacher.
Fantastic! Look at that grunt of that engine. When was Schumacher passed last? That's Ralph Schumacher coming. Oh!
That's finished his afternoon off, hasn't it? And he's hit Ralph Schumacher up the back. Rubens Barrichello trying to be a bit too aggressive.
Suddenly there's a problem on the line from Sao Paulo. The commentary's gone down.
Lost commentary. God, I know what that's like.
There's only one thing for it. Murray decides to fill in the blanks.
Well, we're on lap 11 now. It's Juan Montoya, the Colombian, in the lead. Michael Schumacher, who, try as he may, is not going to be closing up on the Colombian at all. Now, this is, in fact, tremendously significant. It is only BMW's second season in Grand Prix racing since they left it in 1983, and Michael Schumacher seems to be able to do nothing about him at all, and Ralph Schumacher is back in the race, and we've got commentary again.
No option, James. Wet tyres on that track and you'll be 2 or 3 laps.
Oh! It's Montoya! Montoya's out of the motor race!
Oh.
Unbelievable! He's been rammed from behind by one of the back markers. It's the Arrows. We had Villeneuve sitting ahead of Panis, who's lost time in all of this. Who's lost the most. Michael spun it! Michael Schumacher, has he kept the clutch in? Yes, he has. He's got away with it. He gets away with it so often.
Michael's struggling.
Yeah, we do. He's on intermediate.
Michael on intermediates for sure. I think I saw Coulthard on intermediates as well. But
yeah, but that was touching the white line. But my man of the day has got to be Montoya, I think. His 3rd ever Grand Prix.
But the winner of this race, and look how happy he is, David Coulthard of Great Britain wins the Brazilian Grand Prix.
Funnily enough, I've felt quite dispassionate in a way. I've just been watching it like I'm sure an ordinary viewer watches it. I'm surprised at myself. I haven't actually missed being in the commentary box.
So David Coulthard has won the Brazilian Grand Prix, but the celebrations and the party begin in Brazil.
Good evening, everybody. Now, I do a lot of commentating, which is basically blurting out the first thing that comes into my head. But it is difficult.
Away from the racetrack, Murray's in big demand on the after-dinner circuit. Tonight, it's a charity event in central London, and there are 1 or 2 familiar faces among the guests.
It's our Nigel.
Englishman leads on the track there, an Englishman follows in his wheel tracks.
When we won the World Championship in '92, and we were all so happy and ecstatic, he did a documentary the following week, and he came to the Isle of Man, and he introduced me as Charles Manson, the killer. You know, he said Charles Manson. I said it's Nigel, and I said it's Mansell.
Nigel is always traditionally tired, overtired after a race, and they're not giving him a chance.
Nigel was manna from heaven, as far as I was concerned, as a commentator, because I had more excitement, more drama, more to be enthusiastic about from Nigel than all the rest of them put together.
And look at that! Out that, and colossally, that's Mansell!
The late great Ayrton Senna and I had some tremendous moments and some fantastic races, but not least of all, as fantastic as the commentary.
Mansell closes, but it's too late.
I got more excited listening to Murray than I did doing the race.
You are about to see Nigel Mansell become world champion of 1992.
It's very clear he has his favourites. He's made it very clear about Nigel, where he fits with Nigel, about obviously Damon.
Damon's win in Japan in 1996.
He took the lead, he stayed there.
And he crossed the line to become world champion.
And Damon Hill wins the Japanese Grand Prix.
Gave me what was undoubtedly the most emotional moment in my whole broadcasting career.
And I've got to stop because I've got a lump in my throat.
When you play it back and you can hear him sort of go, I'm going to have to stop now because I've got a lump in my throat. It's high drama, it's fantastic, it's brilliant.
And it was absolutely sincere. People have accused me of scripting it, putting it on the commentary box wall and waiting for the right moment to come up. Not true.
And I could hear you in my head. I was, there it goes, you know, Jack's out, Murray's off.
So many memories, so much to reflect on. And now he's calling it a day. Murray's decided it's time to write his autobiography. 120,000 words in all. Some are coming easier than others.
The further back you go, the more difficult it is. Way back in the school days, I'm having to think a great deal. But I know that when I get onto the broadcasting stuff, it's all going to come chum-chum like that because it's very fresh in my mind.
For more than 40 years, enthusiasts have enjoyed the thrills of motorcycle scrambling.
Of course, it wasn't always Formula One. Most of Murray's early commentaries featured two wheels.
My mother knew of him because the TT and Manx races would come on and interrupt Woman's Hour.
Hello, I'm Murray Walker.
In a lot of ways, it was great fun. But he did go on a bit.
The young Murray Walker adored his dad. In his day, he was one of the world's leading motorbike racers.
Murray Walker's father, Graham, cleans up winner Tittle Smith before planting a smacker.
My father was a fantastic personality.
What our beloved Brooklands looked like from 1907 to 1939.
A great man in his sporting life and his subsequent working life as a magazine editor and a broadcaster.
Well, I mentioned that first 1908 Easter Monday Brooklands race for motorcycles.
I mean, I was born into motorsport and I was either going to love it or loathe it, and I love it.
You young men have this war to win.
But motorsport would have to wait. With Britain at war and Murray barely out of his teens, duty called.
General Eisenhower, Supreme Allied Commander, takes the parade at Sandhurst.
Among those passing out from Sandhurst Military Academy in 1944 was Officer Cadet 144-06224, Graham Murray Walker.
To each one of you, I wish Godspeed and good luck.
Oh, this is fabulous.
Murray was a tank commander in the war. This summer, he returned to his old base at Bovington, now a tank museum.
I was in the army for 4.5 years. I won't say I enjoyed every second of it because my 21st birthday, for instance, was amid shot and shell on the Holland-Germany border.
It's about 55 years since I've been on one of these things. Wake up! You idle man!
I trained under people like the great RSM Britain, who was very famous in the British Army, and I marched away a very proud second lieutenant. The lowest form of animal life in the British Army. I joined my regiment, the Royal Scots Greys, in the winter of '44. We were the other side of the river from Arnhem, and we had all the misery of seeing it happening and not being able to do anything about it.
Flail tanks and carriers of the Essex Regiment go forward through the flame and smoke of this Dutch town.
And then I was involved in the Rhine crossing and the fantastic dash across Germany.
Then go Jerry's plans for holding up the Allied advance.
But as far as I'm concerned, it was 4.5 years that I would not have missed for anything.
From two old veterans to another veteran.
My God.
There's a Challenger 2.
God.
You're all
Waterloo?
Yes.
My regiment.
And your badges.
God, you're so kind of you. Thank you very much. Royal Scots Greys, my regiment.
"57 years on, Murray has been invited back to Sandhurst to watch today's parade. It brings back some poignant memories.
Everything that meant so much to me then and means so much to me now is unchanged. It's tradition, it's the greatness of the British Army.
For you start on a path trodden by heroes, by the fallen, and by those who have underpinned your regiment's cause and national armies through recent times, good and bad.
There we are.
There we are.
That's me.
There we are.
14406224.
You remember your army number?
Yeah.
Do you?
Yeah.
They say you always remember your army number.
I was unashamedly very close to tears several times today because it is such a dramatic, unique, evocative, emotional occasion.
The traditional finale is still observed when the adjutant, mounted on a cream pony, rides up the steps of the academy.
And when I look back on all those years and think that I was actually a part of it and preceded the adjutant on his grey riding up the steps, I feel immensely proud.
Having decided to miss 5 Grand Prix in this his final season, Murray Walker's returning to an old lunchtime haunt to catch up with a few former colleagues. He went into the advertising business after the war and helped to produce some classic television commercials.
Hello, old friend. God bless you.
Norman, how are you? You and I are looking more alike every day.
Murray worked in advertising for 35 years. That was the day job. Commentating came at weekends. He would meet up with his wife Elizabeth on Friday nights and travel to race meetings all over the country after a busy week at the office.
I was Your cat will stay younger, live longer on Daily Kitty Cat. Trill makes budgies bounce with health.
I say, Trill makes budgies bounce with health because Trill has special sunshine grains.
And eventually we came up with this claim. An only budgie is a lonely budgie. Because, I mean, in those days, old ladies used to have budgies to keep them company.
See?
He's a great guy to work with. We used to work on a sort of group system there, and he would be the account executive on these pet foods and Mars products, and I'd be the marketing executive.
I remember you at board meetings. If anyone had got a bit of good news, you were always the person that said, great. Yeah, well done. Murray, as you see him on the Grand Prix circuit scene, is Murray as he always was. I mean, it bubbles through.
And Norman Gass was the copywriter who wrote A Mars a Day Helps You Work, Rest and Play. And when we actually started it, we used to have a little boy with a boxing glove which punched the screen on the television and said,
Mars feeds you goodness.
Three good ways.
Milk to build you up.
Sugar, energy to give you energy.
Chocolate to keep you going.
When we changed to this advertising, the sales shot up by about 28%. Bounty
gives you tender coconut.
Gives you a taste of paradise.
The bounty hunters. They came in search of paradise.
I had the ring of confidence.
The ring of confidence, didn't you?
Keeping them inside this ring could mean fewer fillings.
And did it work?
It capped Colgate toothpaste for 65% of the market against all competition. Not too bad.
Fresh breath and a good taste. Keep your family inside Colgate's ring of confidence.
Do you remember some of the office parties at the Portchester Baths with Murray with his jacket off? You were a great dancer.
I don't remember this at all.
Oh, I do. I felt the competition was severe.
It's go! And Damon Hill leads into the first bend.
Murray? He hasn't changed. He's the same. He's just a lovely man.
And here comes the pasta.
It's a pizza, Murray.
Hill's going for it. And he's spun his pizza through 180 degrees. And Hill finishes second again. He's lost it. He's out of control.
July, the halfway stage of the Formula One season. It's Silverstone, qualifying day for Murray's final British Grand Prix.
Thank you, dear. Thank you.
6 a.m, Murray's fueling up for the big day ahead.
Bacon, yes. Sausage, yes, please. I'm trying very hard, and so far succeeding, to regard this as another race. Because the most important thing about this weekend is not that it's Murray Walker's last British Grand Prix. It's that I'm talking about the British Grand Prix, and that's what millions of people all over the world want to look at. And I'm determined to get it right. There have been some fabulous events here, including the first ever Formula One race in 1950. For me, though, the greatest ever victory at Silverstone was Nigel Mansell's in 1987. He battled with his hated teammate Nelson Piquet, took the lead at Stowe Corner with a sensational passing move, and won. My God, look at that. We'd like to help you celebrate your very last working British Grand Prix by inviting you to experience a Bentley for a day at your leisure. No obligation, no commitments. I must retire more often. Come into the office, I'll show you round. Bit of a mess in here, I'm afraid, a lot of equipment. But this is where I stand to do the commentary, and I do stand for the whole race. This is my television monitor, which gives me exactly the same picture that you see at home. Now, I have a crib sheet here, gives me all the details I need to know about drivers, double-sided. Here is my sheet which tells me the top 6, the front row of the grid, the fastest lap. But basically, I have to keep my eyes glued on the monitor, because the moment I look away from the monitor, down at the track there, you see something that I don't, and you wonder why I'm not telling you about it.
Bentlinger is third, and Ayrton Senna is up to fourth position ahead of Schumacher.
It was at Silverstone that Murray first teamed up with James Hunt. They were chalk and cheese, but the partnership lasted 13 years.
Driving at the start, a quite brilliant couple of corners by Ayrton Senna.
And Silverstone provided just one of many fond memories of their time together in the commentary box.
James had ripped a lot of ligaments in his right leg, snowboarding while he was drunk. James, I have seen lots of people who are incomparably better than I am, obviously, stalling. As a result of which, he turns up at the commentary box at Silverstone with a plaster cast on his leg.
No, you just got to keep the revs up enough to keep the engine running smoothly, right?
So he lay on the floor, looking up at the television set, while I was standing beside it talking.
Let the clutch out slowly and just let it drive away.
So I sort of signed off in suitably glowing terms and handed the microphone down to James and said, your opinion, James? What a load of rubbish, he said. The trouble with Jarrier is he's a French wally. Always has been and always will be. Bless him. Who am I hearing in the background, Keith?
Yeah, Keith.
Have you got cricket on or something? Just must keep your mind on the motor racing, you know. Yeah, we are at Silverstone. I'm in show business, really, and my job is to tell the anoraks, the real enthusiasts who know the difference between a McLaren and a Ferrari and an Arrows and all the rest of it, what is happening in their terms, whilst also entertaining the 95% of the television audience who are not anoraks.
Is he quicker or not? Yes, but only...
I happen to have the kind of voice that nature gave me that suits my sport. My sport is a harsh, aggressive, fast-moving, impactful sport. And I've got a harsh, aggressive, impactful, fast-moving voice.
And just look at this for sheer raw speed.
Brilliant use of words and a voice that you could not train.
Well, he's going to have to put his thick, woolly Finnish socks up because he is over 1/10 of a second slower than Michael Schumacher.
Some races can be boring in Formula One, as we all know, but Murray seems to make them interesting.
He, I'm sure, has increased the viewership in the UK more than any single element.
For an Anglo-Saxon to be able to have this much enthusiasm and be this explosive is not normal.
And he's through! Yes! Well done, Eddie Irvine!
I'm a great fan of his because I know that when you watch a race, if he's commentating, boy, it's really something. And when he's with Martin, I think the couple are terrific.
What do you think?
Murray's the boss. I've always had the attitude that I'm moving into Murray's office, and so I'll yield to him at all times, really.
Mika Häkkinen has only done 9 laps. He's got another run left. So has David Coulthard. So has Jarno Trulli.
Martin and I have separate microphones, and we communicate with a series of hand signals. Martin has always got his hand on my shoulder. And if I'm talking and he spots something and he wants to talk, he will shake my shoulder with varying degrees of intensity. A gentle shake means I'd like to speak, Murray, and a really vigorous shake means let me in now.
If I really need to say something, I dig a nail underneath the muscle somewhere, and sometimes he lets me have the microphone.
But it is in a full-blooded gallop now.
People say that I have a very particular style. Clive James has said that in my quieter moments I sound as though my trousers are on fire.
Yes, yes!
I mean, I have so much respect for him. I decided right from the beginning I didn't want to score any points off of Murray Walker. It'd be like being rude to the Queen Mother as far as I'm concerned.
Jarno Trulli, there's a man who has yet to show his potential.
Was that Jarno Trulli in Frenton's crash helmet then, Murray?
No, it was Frenson in Jarno Trulli's crash helmet. People are always banging on at me about the mistakes I make. Murrayisms, the gaffes, torn base oats which were previously nil are now absolutely zero. You know, I mean, I can explain all these things. They make sense to me when I'm saying them.
It's always made Murray what he is today, so it's going to be a sad loss from that point of view.
Now he's getting aboard, and now that's it, bang, bang, and off! Oh dear.
It was a rallycross and it was in a Mini, and it had this real new design screen that had little holes in it.
Holes drilled in the windscreen, there it is.
And he was saying how fantastically new it is, and it's clear for the driver to see.
But it helps visibility. What am I saying? What am I saying?
Nigel Mansell had the bump on the head.
You've got an enormous bump on your head. Can you let them see it?
I don't know whether...
He sort of poked it.
Yeah.
Right up there. Oh, I'm sorry.
He was there, but he has to touch it.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Hit the gird, it wasn't too bad, but Murray's fist was something else.
3 escorts, first, second and third. Not surprisingly, because they're all escorts in this race.
It's live. When those words come out of your mouth, they're gone forever, and sometimes you want to claw them back again.
I'm going to stop the stopwatch and the wheel stops. Now!
What I say to people who say, oh, Murray Walker makes mistakes, I say, OK, right, next time the Grand Prix is on, turn the volume down and start talking and see how far you get before you run out of words or you start repeating yourself or you make a mistake. And it's not very far.
"9 o'clock at night, and Murray's in his hotel room, doing his homework for tomorrow's big race at Silverstone.
I want to be in bed with my head on the pillow and ideally asleep by 10:30 because we're leaving the hotel at 5:30 tomorrow. So that means I will be getting up at 4:45. I want to be really on the ball tomorrow, on top of it, leaving viewers with good memories of my last British Grand Prix.
I can't imagine hearing Formula 1 without Murray Walker there.
We'll miss him a lot. It's great.
I think it's a damn shame, I do. I think it's absolutely brilliant.
It won't sound the same without him. It's all the atmosphere. It's Murray on the telly.
Here's a news flash from Silverstone. I can hear a large aeroplane overhead.
There's people. Now they're forming a line. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 of them. Oh, and there's a banner. There's a banner. Good luck, Murray. Hurry, Falcons. Wow, look at that. My trouble is, I'm a very emotional man, and this is getting to me.
Terribly emotional weekend, Jim. If it doesn't get to me before the end of the weekend, I shall be very surprised.
Murray Walker's a man with a tremendously warm heart. He's a very sensitive man, and now he's a very emotional man because he's coming in his full vision to the end of an amazing career.
Good afternoon, Mr. Murray. Thank you, gentlemen. You are stars. Fantastic. Look at that. Thank you very much.
It's an absolute pleasure to joke with you today here. I hope you enjoyed that.
He's not too proud to cry. He cried like a baby when Ayrton died, and he takes it very seriously. This man has passion that should be a great example for anyone who's been involved, not alone in motorsport, but in sport in general.
You marry?
Are you ready? Because this is the big one.
Go, go, go! And Schumacher gets away well. Trulli is up alongside, and off goes the pair.
And Trulli hit Coulthard into the first corner. Did he go off? I can see a Jordan in the gravel trap, and that was a McLaren coming out of the pit lane. It must have been Coulthard.
They come in together. It's up to the mechanics now to move really fast. Eddie Irvine could ideally gain a place here if the Jaguar mechanics can do a really super stop and get him out. Has he done so? Yes! Eddie Irvine gets out ahead of John Lacey. Princeton is having another go at him. He's got a clean line on the inside as they come out of club out to Abbey, and he dives through on the inside. That was a lovely move.
It was. Can he make it stick? No, he can't. He went in too deep.
They are supremely fit, these people.
And so they should be married. Michael Schumacher earns about $1 million a week during the racing season.
For the first time, Mika Häkkinen wins the British Grand Prix. Well done, Mika!
I just wanted to say thank you all very much. I've had 52 wonderful years. If you've got the love and respect of the people that you're talking to, it makes it a very easy job, and I've loved every second of it. Thank you very much.
Just slightly in the firing line here.
The champagne corks are popping as Murray Walker hits the front cover again. Dressed for the part he's always dreamed of.
Okay, hold it.
I don't want to be Murray Walker commentator. Ideally, I would like to have been Stirling Moss, because Stirling Moss is my all-time hero, the man who was never actually world champion but should have been about 4 times. And he had this fantastically glamorous life.
Again, 3, 2, 1.
I'm younger than he is. That amazes me, actually. I mean, he looks so young, you know, and he is young. Personally, I think that motor racing is a sport that keeps you that way because it's an urgent thing, and I think he's that sort of person.
I would have liked to have been charming the birds and thrilling the crowds and wearing the overalls and driving the car and getting around the corners faster. The nearest I can get to it is doing what I do now.
Car 57 time, 41.29, 41.
Shelsley Walsh, Worcestershire. Round 2 of the 2001 British Hill Climb Championship. This is where it all began for Murray Walker.
Now that's where I was. Yes.
Shelsley Hill claims to be the oldest racetrack in the world. An appropriate place, then, for Murray to have started his broadcasting career with his very first public commentary back in 1949.
Now, this is real nostalgia time for me. John, I'm all of a twitter when I see those words Vox Villa. This is literally where it all began for me. I mean, 1949, I came here as an understudy for my dad. But as far as I was concerned, there was one bloke that I was talking to, Jim Pestridge, who was the BBC producer.
John, it's Murray Walker. Good afternoon, and good afternoon, everybody who is at Shelsley Walsh.
And I knew that when I was talking, Jim would hear what I had to say.
And I'm looking down into the paddock, and honestly, it looks exactly the same to me as it did 52 years ago.
And as a result of that, I got my first ever national broadcast of the BBC at Silverstone British Grand Prix 1949.
He was commentating before I was born, so it's been everyone's lifetime experience of having Murray commentate.
And Murray has been part of a golden era of commentators that anyone who's watched motor racing over the last 50 plus years knows Murray Walker, and we won't see the like again.
Thank you, Tim.
September, just 10 days short of his 78th birthday, this is it. Murray's final race.
You're watching the American Grand Prix. We are live from sunny Indianapolis. The magnificent motor speedway is dubbed the racing capital of the world. Calling is the word they use for commentating stateside. It is the last call for Murray Walker. On you go, Murray.
Does America like Formula One? Well, you should be here. This place is absolutely awesome. The conditions are superb. Sunshine, blue skies, track temperature, 26 degrees. And there is a mammoth crowd here.
I want to go out on a high because it's an exciting race. And honestly, it's not going to be until Australia of 2002, I think, when I'm not there and not doing it, that I realise I've finished.
Go, go, go! And they've all got away well! One left right at the back. Is it Young or is it Thomas Enger? The meantime, Schumacher leads. And look, there it is. We look down on the Montoya. Is visibly closing now on Michael Schumacher.
He had a lot of work to do, but look how much he's made up, and he got the lead.
Fantastic! And the crowd roars! They love that! Boy, is this Grand Prix racing with a capital G and a capital P. Hot dog! It's terrific! Look at him go! He is a tiger!
And that's Ralph, off the racetrack.
Ralph Schumacher out of the race then. Rear wheel spinning. It looks as though he's beached it. Oh, Montoya! Stop it! James, sorry! Montoya slowing! Montoya stopping! It looks as though both Williams BMWs are out of the race. Yes! This is lap 39. Schumacher out, Montoya out. Finito. Oh, that's it. Bang, bang. Out goes Ruben Barrichello. This is the last corner of the last lap, and Mika Häkkinen takes the checkered flag to win the American Grand Prix. Clap, clap, clap. Well done, Mika. And now, as ever, it's champagne time.
Last word to Murray Walker. Murray?
That's it then, folks. That's the last from me. All I can say is that it always has been a pleasure, and I hope you will enjoy Grand Prix racing from now on. Goodbye.
Motor racing is full of piranhas, but at least you know that before you come into it. If you don't, you're on the slippery slope. And Murray survived, and he survived by being a gentleman. That's the greatest compliment I could ever pay him.
I think his contribution has been certainly as great as any driver. And, one has to rate it alongside somebody like Ferrari.
It would be a great mistake if anybody tries to be the next Murray Walker, because there can never be another Murray Walker.
We're going to go back to the hotel now. We're going to get organised. We'll get on the aeroplane and go home, and then I'll start thinking about the rest of my life.
Well, coming up next this afternoon, top all-stars in the drama musical movie Fiddler on the Roof. Then later at 5:30, Amanda Barry and Richard Wilson head an all-star cast in the ITV pantomime Dick Whittington.